He is shocking everyone. Today we'll be discussing a player that needed to perform in Sunday's game, and they did just that. Welcome to Bears Digest, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, Dylan Guinzy. Thank you for joining me once again. If you have not subscribed already, please do so. I believe above 65% of you are not subscribed, so be sure to hit that bell to stay up to date on news, rumors, breaking information as we receive it. So, ladies and gentlemen, today I want to discuss a player that needed to go out and perform, all things considered, and they did exactly that. It was a shock to, I think, all of the Bears fan base, everybody included, going into this game. I think it was just kind of a massive shock to the system. So without further ado, we're going to get right into that. It is this man right here, Tyrique Stevenson. So with all of the injuries and how the Bears have been plagued with those injuries and unfortunate situations in the secondary to start this year, with Jaylon Johnson and Kyler Gordon being out, Jaylon Johnson being out for the entire year pretty much, and Kyler Gordon, we still don't know. Hopefully he's back this week. If not, probably looking at after the bye. But Tyrique Stevenson needed to step up. He is a guy that does not lack confidence, but he has lacked that ability to perform in moments in the game and keep his composure. And what Tyrique did is he went out and he absolutely played incredible against the Cowboys on Sunday. That was an impeccable performance and something that the Bears really needed out of that weak secondary position group. So with this strip here to start the day against the Cowboys, obviously everybody remembers this moment. The Cowboys were driving. They were gaining that momentum. Javonte Williams came around the corner and was off to a great start on that run. From that point, Tyrique Stevenson noticed that he was a little bit careless with the football, came up behind Javonte Williams and made an excellent strip, stayed in bounds, and got the ball back to Chicago. Now, that is so important because that kind of switched the momentum right off of the bat. And the Cowboys driving down, they probably would have scored at least 3 with that, just being in that, field position. And they probably would have scored a touchdown just by how, kind of awesome their offense has been to start the year and how talented they are. And especially, they had CeeDee Lamb at this point as well. So all things considered, I think they would have scored a touchdown right there. And that completely shifts the trajectory of this game. Whether you like it or not, Tyrique Stevenson had a huge moment to start this game at a time when this team needed it the most. A little quote that I thought was pretty funny from Tyrique was in that press conference afterwards. He said, "He don't want it, so I'm going to take it." And I thought that was perfectly well said in that moment. Javonte Williams was a little bit careless with the football at this moment, as you see on screen, and he came out and he took it right away. That type of effort, those type of plays from our secondary and other players on the team is huge for this defense, meaning that this defense is a little bit behind in terms of talent on the field, the way that they're playing, the injuries and the guys that they have out there are just pretty much not up to par for what you would look at as an above average defense. And they're running a new system under Dennis Allen as well. So these types of plays and these types of turnovers that can change the momentum and shift the trajectory of the game is huge and very important to continue on for the rest of this year. I thought this was amazing to see from Tyrique and getting his confidence up in terms of play on the field and his abilities. Another thing from Ben Johnson that we had last week regarding his confidence. He is not a guy that lacks for confidence. He is a South Florida guy, when talking about Tyrique Stevenson. So obviously he has that confidence in himself, but it's more about like controlling his emotions and controlling his thought process as the game goes on. Obviously he had the huge moment in the Hail Mary last year that pretty much derailed the Bears season. So now he's kind of on that trajectory of trying to shift that and being more focused, being more sound. He's not like George Pickens out there freaking out on the sideline. He's staying more composed and within himself, and that is extremely important in a secondary that is not very talented at the moment. So we're going to go to Tyrique's stats on the day and how he performed in this game, aside from that forced fumble to begin there. So this tweet from Jacob Infante, great Twitter on Bears Twitter if you don't follow him already. This is just Tyrique Stevenson in week 3. 2 catches allowed on 8 targets, 25% completion, 9 receiving yards allowed, 2 pass deflections were also in big moments, and those were great plays as well, if you guys saw those. One forced fumble, obviously, that we already covered. 39.6 passer rating against, 79.8 PFF grade, 95.3 run defense grade. He stepped up in a major way. Obviously, yeah. I mean, he stepped up. He answered the bell. It's exactly what this secondary needed. Tyreek has always been a very talented, I would say, tackler. In coverage, he has been a little bit weak. It seems like he kind of loses focus at some times. So seeing that performance, not only the forced fumble, but the way that he was in coverage against Pickens and the other guys that he was going against on the Cowboys, just to see that and that progression in his play was absolutely amazing. And I think that shocked myself, all Bears fans, probably the coaching staff as well. But that's a good shock, right? We really need that because right now they are lacking talent. Tyreek has always had that talent in the back of, why you drafted him in the second round, but he's never really shown it on field or been able to be consistent enough in his play throughout an entire game to give you that, I guess, strength and encouragement to keep him starting on the field and keep him on this team going forward. There's a lot of pressure on Tyreek's back this week and previous weeks, dating back to last season. Obviously, he had a lot of rough moments early on, especially in the Eberflus era. But I think this staff right now is challenging him, and they are getting the most out of him right now as of this week. So we're going to see if he can continue to stack that on, because if we get Kyler Gordon back, Tyreek is performing, we get a little bit healthier. Jaylon Johnson, we'll see what happens there. I'm not expecting him to be back at all this year, but Tyreek's play on the outside corner spot is going to be paramount for the success of this Bears defense and at least just holding teams under 24 points a game, right? Can we get a play here and there? Can we get a pass deflection? Can we get another forced fumble on a run around the edge? Different plays like that really, really do matter. I would say that the score would be entirely different if Tyreek didn't get that forced fumble on Javonte Williams to begin the game there. So, absolute shock. Incredible that Tyreek Stevenson was able to perform in a time that we needed him the most. I hope that he does stack that onto this coming week against the Las Vegas Raiders. This is kind of the last step here on covering the game against the Cowboys. Obviously, it was a win. It was great for this organization, great for this team and the confidence moving forward. But after today, we kind of need to shift to the Raiders as it is a week-to-week league. And this is a must-win, I would say, for the Chicago Bears in getting this season back on track. So on to tomorrow, we'll be covering all of the information that does release regarding the injury report for the week and any moves or additional information that does come out to us. So we'll be keeping an eye on that and starting to uncover and unwrap the game against the Raiders on Sunday. So thank you guys for joining me once again. As always, bear down.